Let's bring in James Lofton, the Hall of Famer. He provided sideline coverage of Super Bowl 50 for Westwood One. James, thanks for joining us. If I would have said to you when the game started, what will you expect to happen, what would you have said?
Well, I didn't expect defense to dominate the way that it did and thoroughly dominate. Carolina couldn't run the ball up the middle. They couldn't protect Cam Newton when they were forced to pass in those long yardage situations. And Peyton Manning did just enough. Didn't have to do a lot during the course of the game, but did enough. There were a few passes that he made, and I love the end of the game. I love the post-game stuff when we were down interviewing everybody, and when he was pressed about whether or not he was going to retire. And the way that he handled that was much the way that he's handled life in the pocket. He shuffled up a little bit, he threw it away, and said, let's wait a couple of moments. Let's enjoy what just happened. And I thought that was so appropriate.
The Carolina offense, to me, did not adjust. That was probably the most surprising part of it. And look, I'm on the outside looking in, and you're down there, but I just felt like it was Groundhog Day every time Cam went back to pass instead of moving him out of the – like, give me something else to think about if I'm Denver's defense, and I don't think Carolina ever did that.
Well, if you look at Carolina during the course of the year, 60% run, 40% pass, really dominant running the ball, 142 yards per game, and they got out to leads early. And they are not built to, and very few teams are built for 3rd and 13.
Yeah.
I think they had about 10 3rd and 10 pluses, and that wears on you. And when you look at what Denver is good at, man-to-man coverage, pressuring the passer, they came in with 52 sacks. And we and we wonder why they didn't have 152 sacks when we saw them play. So they played to their strength, and it was an eye-opener to how good of a defense Wade Phillips was able to work with. Here's a coach who was sitting on his porch looking at the sunsets last year, and now he's a Super Bowl champion.
And Carolina's defense played really well, but we're just so used to them taking advantage of it and actually scoring touchdowns or giving Cam a short field there. But and if it's not Von Miller or DeMarcus Ware, who's your MVP last night?
You would have to look at the game tape at that point, but the interior of the Broncos defensive line, Malik Jackson. I can't think of the other guy's name right now because it's after curfew, before my bedtime. And so right in the middle, when you could not run, when Jonathan Stewart at halftime had 6 carries for 7 yards, and his longest run was 2 yards, I mean, that kind of summed up what was going on.
Did you talk to Cam after the game?
I did not talk to Cam after the game. Our assignment on that when the game ends is to try and corral the Denver players and get those interviews done. So, I didn't get to witness what happened in the interview area. And those things are unfortunate, but the emotions are running so high at that point that, you're going to expect some snafus once in a while.
Get some sleep, James. Great season. Thank you for joining us. It was great to see you in San Francisco. And thank you. We'll talk to you next season.
Oh, it was great. Thanks, Dan.
That's James Lofton, Hall of Famer. Sideline coverage there for Carolina for Westwood One.